Hey, what's going on, guys? This is AndrewChicken and welcome back to another video. In this one, I want to talk about the most balanced flank in Paladins, and that is a champion named Maeve. Maeve is one of the most popular flanks in Paladins history, and she's also a champion who has barely gotten changed over the past few years. To see that, we can head on over to the wiki, where it has a change log of every single change that's ever happened to Maeve, and the last change she got was over 2 years ago back in July of 2021, where she got a small buff to Rogue's Gambit. But if we want to talk about her most popular playstyle, Cat Burglar, then we have to go back even further. She got a few bug fixes throughout 2020, and then in March she got a change to the card Predation. But this had more to do with the standardization of the cards in the game rather than anything with Maeve herself, because at the same time many other champions got changes to their cards that was the exact same way, where they made cards only work against players instead of also working against shields and deployables. So this really didn't have anything to do with Maeve. We have to go back even further to January of 2020 before we finally see some major card changes. So it has been a very long time since Maeve has gotten a substantial change. And this is because she is one of the most balanced characters in all of Paladins. Nobody is saying she's too strong, nobody is saying she's too weak. She is a perfectly balanced champion who is viable and a very sensible choice to play. And so today I want to talk about why I think that is, and I also want to show you what I would consider to be the best playstyle for Maeve, which is of course using Cat Burglar. My preferred playstyle is Rogue's Gambit, but Cat Burglar is generally the more viable way to play her because it gives her bonus damage after using Prowl. So this is the build I have for Cat Burglar. The most important card here is actually the level 4 card, which is Predation, because it reduces the cooldown of Prowl every time we hit an enemy with a dagger. This is important for obvious reasons. I mean, it just synergizes so well with this talent. The rest of it is very standard. We have damage reduction after using Pounce, movement speed bonus while using Prowl, we have a bit of extra HP, and then we have a level 1 filler that reduces the cooldown of 9 lives. And I have not touched this build since I created the Maeve guide way back a few years ago. And that's just because, hey, like I said, she has not been changed in years. So what's the point of updating the build? This is a classic, and it works very well. But real quick before we get into the actual gameplay, I just want to say that if you want to see me give any other build advice or gameplay tips in the form of a gameplay video such as this, almost like a mini guide, then comment down below who you would like to see me cover, because I do want to get started doing a few more of those in between some of the larger guides that I have coming up, because I am working on a few things, and they should be out sometime within the near future. I don't have an exact date, but I do have some very juicy guides coming up. In the meantime, though, I would like to do more videos like this, so again, comment down below. And also, it is, well, unfortunately for a lot of gaming YouTubers, the time of year when, well, views start to go down a little bit because the summer's over and a lot of teens and college-age kids are going back to school, which means they have less time to watch the videos. So if you want to help support this channel in sort of this rougher period between summer and winter, then please consider dropping a like on the video, subscribing to the channel, and just watch the video through. Watch time really helps promote a video in the algorithm, and so if you really want to help me out, that would help me a ton. And yeah, with that being said, let's go ahead and get straight into the video. Oh boy, so we have a level 6 auto pick Ying. The game automatically chose this champion for them. I think they're AFK. I hope that's not bad for us. But yeah, we are on Brightmarsh, thankfully. And yeah, I will say, I haven't been playing much Maeve recently because I'm an Eevee main. I just play her, so you'll have to forgive me if this isn't the best Maeve gameplay, but the build is still very viable, and that is something I want to showcase while I'm talking about, hey, why is Maeve the most balanced flank in Paladins? Why has she not needed a single balance change for over 2 years? And really, why hasn't Cat Burglar needed a single balance change for more than 3 years? I mean, geez, she has gone so long without anything. Well, let's go ahead and get right into that after picking up, of course, this build, and then let's think about what items I want to buy. Well, they have a Ceres. They don't really have a lot of crowd control, though, so I don't think I need Rezo off the bat here. Chronos can be very helpful, especially for getting more procs of the bonus damage, and we already have some DR in our build with 6th Sense, so I think that's what I'll go ahead and pick up. And yeah, let's get right into it. So, part of why Maeve is a balanced character who hasn't really needed many changes is she's always been a sort of higher end, but ultimately middle of the pack character in terms of her mobility. She has very good mobility, but it's not the highest level of mobility in the game, right? We have Evie, who is the queen of mobility, at least until 7 came around, and overthrew her as the king of mobility. We also have other characters who can keep up with her, like Vatu. Vatu also released, and is honestly more mobile than her as well. And in general, she's always had a very fair and reasonable movement system. I mean, most of her movement is just, okay, she has an omnidirectional dash, and then she has a movement speed buff that allows her to jump high, and then she also has double jumps as well. It's not anything that's super unreasonable to track for the average player, but it's still good enough that Maeve can certainly get by with it, right? And if you're skillful with her, if you're skillful with the dashes, then yeah, it's actually pretty darn good. But not overwhelming. She's not overwhelming in that department. And the same goes for her damage. She does 800 damage per second. She does slightly more damage with Cat Burglar if you can actually hit them. What the heck is wrong with me? I'm so bad at hitting Maeve daggers. I really am just the worst. Sometimes I'm 1 dagger Randy, other times I'm 0 dagger Randy, but we will kill that Talus there. But yeah, she does 800 damage per second. It's not the highest in the flank class, not even close. She does, however, have a really good range. Okay, we're fine, I think. I hope. Yes, alright. So yeah, you're not going to really need to nerf her damage at all, compared to the likes of Lex, who just got a Discovery nerf recently, or Talus, or Androxus with Cursed Revolver, or anything like that. But it's still reasonable enough that you can kill people, and that range allows her to get an advantage over characters who have much less range, as long as she's skillful enough to actually hit them. And that's kind of the third reason why she's so balanced, is she is such a skill-dependent character, right? She's one of the most skillful characters in the game, not just in terms of having a relatively high skill floor, but also a very, very high skill ceiling. The difference between a good Maeve and a bad Maeve is night and day. So, yeah, that is another way that she can remain reasonably balanced, because she only really becomes super, super good if you're actually super, super good at her, and that's a really good dynamic to have for a character. On top of that, she does have reasonable survivability in terms of her cards. She doesn't have Ice Block like Evie does, but she does have pretty consistent uptime on damage reduction through a number of different means. I prefer the Pounce card, some people like the Prowl card, some people like the card that gives you DR when low, but regardless of how you get the DR, she does have a good amount of DR. But it's not as crazy as Vatu's, and she is still a relatively squishy champion. And then yeah, her ultimate. Her ultimate's a really good, actually, team-based ultimate. It does... Ow, wow, okay. It does actually have its counterplay, obviously. You can buy Rizzo, you can be good at predicting shots, there's Cassiold. It's not without its counters, but it also is resilient to resilience in the sense that only Resilience 2 counters it. Resilience 3 does not counter it any harder, right? There's a cap on how much you can counter it with crowd control resistance. Holy crap, this guy is really hooking me, okay. Maybe slightly pay some attention, maybe. Nah, we don't need to pay attention. Let's get out of here. Let's just run away. Most of my team is dead. But yeah, it can be used to help your teammates get kills. It can also be used to help you get kills, but it's not the most overwhelming ult, while simultaneously not being total hot garbage either. Yellow. So in general, she's got a very dependable kit that allows for good skill expression without being overwhelming. And that's really the secret to making a character who's actually really well balanced. She has been stronger in the past, though. She didn't always used to be this way. And one clear, shining example of her being more busted in the past was when Street Justice was stronger. Because Street Justice used to be way more annoying than it is now. And it is still annoying. It's not good talent design. She's not flawless. But that has been toned down, and it's not really that much of an issue. You'll notice that for squishy champions, playing Street Justice and playing Cat Burglar can actually have the exact same game loop, where you throw 2 sets of daggers and then you can pounce to finish them, and that will kill most squishy champions, no problem. The only time Street Justice becomes a problem is obviously dealing with tanks, where it becomes very annoying. But that's still not played as much as Cat Burglar, because at the end of the day, your job is to take out the squishies, and Cat Burglar simply does a better job of that. It's more consistent, and it's honestly just really fun to play. So yeah, she has all of these things that make her balanced. She was more powerful in the past. I believe Cat Burglar might have been stronger in the past as well. I don't remember, though, because it's been so long since we had really a true Maeve meta. She's always been a character, at least in the past few years, who's been able to stand up to the meta characters, like still being viable, especially in the hands of a skillful player, without being busted. That's kind of another reason why she hasn't really had much attention, is because too many characters have just been way stronger or way weaker than her, right? kind of regardless of her own power level, right? Take Seven for an example. Seven is a character who, for the longest time, was insanely overpowered. I still really don't like the guy, but he certainly used to be a lot stronger to the point that he was meta-defining. The same goes for Vatu, even back when Seven was meta, but also literally right now, Vatu is the strongest keyboard flank. You also had Androxus being way stronger, and then that's not even mentioning controller flanks, which generally Maeve's not the strongest on controller, although she is still playable, certainly. And then on the flip side, you have flanks that have been overwhelmingly weak, like Skye for a long time, Caspian right now, Moji for a long time. And you have this dynamic where Maeve is just in a decent spot, and so she simply doesn't really have anyone actually paying attention to her. I almost feel like I barely hear about Maeve nowadays, even though she's still a very popular flank, and for a while she was the most popular flank. Like, you guys remember back in like 2018, 2019, Maeve simps were everywhere. Everyone wanted to be a Maeve main. You had people like Techno and Victoria absolutely dominating with her. Don't really see that anymore. She hasn't fallen off. She's still perfectly playable, perfectly viable, at least not when in the hands of me. But she's just not really noteworthy in the same way that all these other flanks are, because they're so radical in one of two directions, radically weak or radically powerful, you know? It's just a very interesting dynamic to have. But yeah, I do like that we do have such a balanced flank, where she's playable, she's fun, she's got a kit that's very workable, she's not underwhelming, she's honestly, her strength totally depends on how good you are with her. Very similar to Eevee in that dynamic, although Eevee is generally stronger because she's actually gotten buffed in the past few years, and Maeve hasn't. Maeve has also, she's gotten a few indirect changes that also have buffed other flanks. Like, Maeve now does feel better than Maeve in 2021, but that's because of things like the Kill to Heal change, where Kill to Heal now applies regardless of cauterize. And you also have the air strafing change, which really helped Maeve out, because now she's able to actually move around in the air a lot better and have more tight maneuverability. But yeah, it didn't only affect Maeve, right? It affected all these other flanks. And so as her power level went up due to those changes, basically every other champion's power level also went up. So that doesn't really count as a strict buff for her, you know? Certainly air strafing might help her out more than it would like a Koga, but it still doesn't really matter. I say as I died in the Koga, you know. So yeah, I thought it was really interesting. Wanted to make a video on it, and yeah, that's basically how Maeve works. Let's focus on the gameplay now and actually try and make some plays happen. So yeah, we need to be focusing their DPS a bit more. I see Dredgelow over here. Let me actually aim, and there we go, take him out. But we just lost our Rom. Ying was late to ult him, and she is dead as well, so we're just going to run away. We're actually going to cut back across here and hopefully not die, but I'm probably dead. Okay, we lived that, just barely. Holy crap. And she seriously missed me. I'm standing still. Bro, please. Thank you. Alright. Let's go ahead and prowl, and head up here and say hi to Koga. There's some damage. He dashed, there's some more damage, but I do not have a good angle on him right now, unfortunately. I'm just whiffing. Alright, here's what I'll do. I'll go up here. JK, I missed that, but I'll blind, do some damage there. He's gone. Yeah, he is so gone. Alright. Well, maybe we can sneak around. There's some damage on you. Holy crap, I'm 1 HP. Oh, Drogo's got that. Thank you so much, my friend. You saved my life. Jeez, my team is popping off without me. I am so unnecessary right now. Like I said, I'm not the best Maeve player. I was a lot better at her when I made the guide. But I just don't play her anymore, so yeah. Any skill I might have had with the daggers has fallen off dramatically. That guide still is good, though. Like, the only thing that's really bad about that guide is that it recommends to buy cauterize. Which, that's not bad, it's just outdated. The actual tips, though, are very solid. Like, I'm actually quite happy with that guide, because it is for a character who apparently has had such longevity. Even if I couldn't have predicted that back then, that is a very good thing, because that guide is still relevant to this day. That's what I like to see out of guides, you know? As much as I do like making guides, I don't want to have to make, you know, updates to guides and make, like, 3 editions of the same guide, you know? Because that's just a lot of extra work for guides that usually end up remaining like 80% the same. So, like the item shop. Oh gosh. I made my first itemization guide at a time when the item shop was barely getting updates. It got like one huge update, and I assumed it wasn't going to get any more. And then they just started updating the item shop a whole lot more and made it completely irrelevant. Or actually no, I remember it now. It was when, Cauterize was still an item, and I was like, hey, buy Cauterize. And then they completely changed Cauterize into a passive the very next month. And I was like, no, what? How could I have timed this so poorly to where, this guide that's supposed to have longevity for a system that doesn't get changed just got changed? No.
3, 2.
I actually got so bummed out about that I didn't make a new item guide for a few years. It was kind of, I was just really sad about it. I wonder if there are other characters that maybe I could predict that would just, like, not really get many changes in the upcoming years. Like, I don't know. Maybe I'll make a Vivian guide. Does anyone need a guide to play Vivian, bro? Actually, fun fact, I did make a Vivian guide. But it was a troll guide, but it's actually still completely relevant, because hold WM1. That's all Vivian is. Okay, we're gonna try and win this here. Dodging bullets here. Sarah's just shot at me once and then stopped. Okay, I guess I just live. We live for now. Let's go ahead and pop a blind out and see where it gets me. I'm going to take one shot here, but help Zin kill that. I don't want to be here anymore. Oh, we're going up and over, and let's just pop in here, up and around, and there we go. Navigating the map expertly. Let's say hi to Koga here. Oh, he jumped over my shot, but we can kill him. We know Saris is back here. Me and Zin on the case. Let's chase her down. There we go. Huge. Get that bonus damage up. Help kill him. Thankfully, Makoa missed his hook. And we are chilling on the zoning right now. I say that and I instantly die. Just trying to peek there for a sec. Man. I actually barely took damage. I don't know. I guess I was just really low. I thought I had more health than I did. But I only took about 900 damage between them. Alright. Well, here's some more Haven. Team's still getting kills. Drogo's is ulting out. And alright, it looks like we are just slated to win this here. There we go. Yeah, Dredge was just a little bit too slow to touch point, unfortunately for him. He wouldn't have lasted long anyways. But yeah, there we go. Hopefully this build helps you out if you were curious about a cat burglar build for Maeve. Because this is definitely her best talent. I got carried there by Zin, partially because I spent half that match talking and not really paying attention to the game, but we still did alright here, and at least I didn't die as much, considering I was playing very distracted. Let me know what you think about Maeve. Do you think she needs balance changes? Personally, I don't. I mean, she hasn't needed changes in years. I don't see why she should be changed now. Apart from maybe thinking about reworking Street Justice, but there are a lot more important things to be focusing on right now, and I think Maeve is in a very good spot. I think she's a very dependable flank if you want to pick her up and learn her. Nothing really wrong with having a Maeve player on your team as long as she's good. So, glad to see that there are still flanks like that in Paladins, because with how crazy the flank roster has been over the past few years with Vatu, Androxus, Seven, Talus, Lex, all this garbage, it's nice to have, you know, someone who is basically unchanging, always there for you as a really good character to play. So yeah, thank you guys for watching. I will see you all next time. Peace out.